sets individuals up for a strong future. Whether you want to talk about checking and savings accounts, review lending alternatives, or discuss starting your own business, we have the right people to listen and advise. Visit us at bankbv.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to 98.5. This is KUAW, Kansas City, Missouri. Glad you're listening. Keep tuning to the new voice in Kansas City.
Hi, my name is Felania Johnson, and I'm a freshman at Purcell Academy of Fine and Performing Arts.
My name is Mayan Charity, and I'm a 7th grader at Lincoln College Preparatory.
STEM is a program about science, technology, engineering, and math. More girls our age should get more involved in the program because there's a shortage of black girls in STEM.
African American women make up just 2% of engineers. Roughly 1/3 of students of color express an interest in STEM. Most black women think that STEM is too challenging. We are sisters in STEM, and we are encouraging young black teens to join STEM.
If you're interested in more information, please contact Ina Montgomery at 816-866-6340.
Tycon Company, LLC, specializes in a wide range of construction services, which includes the removal and replacement of concrete curbs, sidewalk, driveway, and paving. They pride themselves in the quality of their service, but more importantly, with the quickness in which they provide those services. Their primary goal and objective is to achieve 100% customer satisfaction, and they won't settle for anything less. Their crews travel within a 100-mile radius of the Kansas City, Missouri metropolitan area, which includes cities on both sides of the Kansas and Missouri state line. Tycon Company, LLC, 4435 Prospect Avenue, Kansas City, Missouri, 64130, 816-921-0473. Tycon Company, LLC, quality with quickness. Proud sponsor of Wake Up KC.
This is Quentin Lucas, speaking on behalf of KUAW, Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom. Make sure that you gain that knowledge listening to this station and following us on Facebook Live. KUAW, making sure our community has a voice.
You are listening to The Lene Gray Show on KUAW, Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom.
This is your host, Kay Brooklyn, and our wonderful co-host, Dre B. This is the Love Project Radio Show, where it's all love all the time.
We definitely want you to tune in to the Love Project Radio Show every first and third Sunday of the month. And also the show starts at 4 p.m. So please tune in. We discuss different topics from relationships to things that are going on in the world. Again, the Love Project Radio Show at 4 p.m. on every first and third Sunday.
We'll make you laugh, we'll make you cry, and most importantly, we'll make you love.
What's happening, everybody? Jazz trumpeter Tom Jamaica Funk Brown wishing all of my KUAW fans season's greetings and the warmest Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Sponsored here on KUAW. Make sure to send us an email at kuaw985@gmail.com. If you want to call in anytime during this live broadcast, 816-599-6893. That number is scrolling at the top of your screen. So at any time that you feel want a time to call in, I would appreciate it. I encourage it. That number is scrolling at the top of your screen. We are available 24/7 on the World Wide Web. That's www.kuaw.org. If you're watching me live on Facebook, hey. And if you're listening to me over the air via TuneIn or via the website and you would like to watch me live, hop over to our Facebook page. KUAW-LPFM 98.5, or YouTube, KUAW Radio. Make sure to like and subscribe and to invite all your friends to both our Facebook and our YouTube page. We also available across all social media outlets. So you have, y'all know them, but you know, Twitter, Instagram, TuneIn, Periscope, of course, YouTube, Facebook, KUAW. So make sure to, you know, like and support those things. So first, we're going to kick it off. We might as well get this out the way and talk about the Chiefs. You know, when we win, we talk about the Chiefs. When we lose, we talk about the Chiefs, okay? So at the end of the day, it's a cool game, you know, not too much sweat off our back. We can't win all the games, you know, we cannot take these things too serious. It sucks that the loss had to come from the Raiders, you know, the rivalry that, you know, has been upheld between the Chiefs and the Raiders, but maybe it's time to get rid of that, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, you know, maybe we just, you know, just enjoy the game, and we really need to kind of let these things over sports kind of go, because this stuff's starting to get out of hand. I don't know if you guys heard, but this is Kansas City, so of course, I don't want to say what should we expect, but it was a altercation after the Chiefs game on Sunday, and apparently the news was reporting it like it was because of the Chiefs game, but I don't know if they can really, you know, say that it was because of the Chiefs games, but this is how they put it out there in the media. And the guy pulled a gun on the other fan because they was arguing, you know, about the game, I guess. And it was witnesses and stuff out there, because they said somebody wrestled him down and took the gun, and he ran. So I don't even think he got caught or anything like that, but they did recover the gun. But yeah, like, come on now. You taking it too serious. Like, these people are not paying your bills. Like, you cannot take it that serious. Even when we get in a little back and forth bickering on Facebook and stuff like that. If you want to keep it fun and, you know, cute, like, okay, that's cool. But when it starts coming into the negative realm, like when it really gets into where it's changing your emotional state of mind, like bring it, you know, like if it's affecting you that way, like it's time to really take a step back and evaluate some things, because you got to have more control over yourself than that. You know, so I definitely, yeah. You can't really just be out there wanting to shoot somebody over a sports loss, you know. But you know, these things, it's not like, now this is the first time I really heard it reported to, like, it's so blotchy, reported to, like, somebody pulling a gun. But you know, there is always a lot of arguments, and you know, there might even be some physical altercations behind, you know, sports games and stuff like that, especially when they be having like those riots and stuff after people lose championships, I guess. But yeah, we need to turn that around, because so you get to the point where you pulling guns. And then let's talk about the conflict resolution. Like, conflict resolution of our people. Like, why do we automatically go to fighting and killing? Like, you're gonna pull a gun on someone because of a game? Like, come on. That is just getting too out of hand, and that's just getting, like, taking it way too far. As a state of people, like, you sit back and look. I mean, because I'm kind of lost for words for it, y'all, and that's kind of hard for me, you know. But when you sit back and just look at the state of your people and everything like that, and you really look like y'all really out here doing these type of things over something so insignificant to life. You know, something that is used, that's supposed to be entertainment, something that is supposed to put you in a joyous state. Like, whether your team wins or loses should make you want to go out and kill someone. And we yeah, so that's that happened in Kansas City. That that was what's going on in Kansas City or whatever after the Chiefs game. Again, sucks that they lost, but of course they had a couple of the debates. I don't know if you guys caught a couple of the. I know President Trump canceled the debate. I guess the second debate he was supposed to have with Joe Biden. Said he didn't even want to do it live or nothing like that either or whatever. He trying to just milk that little COVID situation. They should have never told him he had COVID or whatever little plan they had. But we knew that was something was going to happen in October or whatever with the election being so close. But even despite, and then the vice president debate happened. So, yeah. It was I didn't really watch it. I seen a lot of the memes and things like that. I really don't watch those type of things just because, again, I don't want to tell no one what to vote for or anything like that. But it's just not something that I feel like we have a lot of control over. I think it's something that they try to make us feel like we have control over. I'm more concerned about Governor Pence, whatever his name is, the governor of Missouri. So I want to make sure that you guys go out and vote for if no other reason, just for your local and state and everything that's going on in the state of Missouri right now, or wherever state that you're in, because that is something that we have more control over. Just like, I don't know if you guys seen right now in Kansas City, Stacey Shaw has gotten in trouble so I don't know if you guys were on when we talked about this situation that happened, but a Kansas City police officer body slammed a 9-month pregnant woman, put his knee in her back. So now you had these protests coming out because they wanted this police officer removed, and they wanted the chief officer Rick Smith removed. So there's been protests about those things that's been happening in Kansas City right now since that incident. And so Stacey Shaw, who's a known attorney in Kansas City, a lot of people know Stacey Shaw or have heard of Stacey Shaw. I mean, she used to be on the radio on Hot 103 or whatever. So she was in the body of one of these protests that was happened a couple of days ago, and she was on the microphone and she was saying some things that the police department and the mayor, they all considered were threats to the police officers. Can you put Facebook on my screen? I'm sorry. But so they were saying that she was like threatening their families and everything like that. Like, you would have to go and actually look up it's clips of the speech and everything. And so you would have to look in your interpretation of what it is that she was saying. She was just saying that she had information. To me, what I took from it, she was saying that she had information about these police officers and their past progression or transgressions, that she was going to release the information to their families. I didn't necessarily hear a threat on their lives or anything like that. I didn't necessarily hear her telling protesters to start acting in a violent manner. That was another thing that they were accusing her of. But this is a crime, so she hasn't been charged with anything. So I definitely don't think that they spoke on that she was saying these things and encouraging these things and everything like that. And it had me start thinking about the Black Panther Party. With everything that's going on today, it's like the Black Panther Party started as a group of Asiatic men and women policing the police. You know what I'm saying? When people were getting pulled over, or people were in situations, they would show up to make sure that the police stayed in bounds of their jobs, And so now, and we look at the day and age, we see what happened to the Black Panther Party. And don't get me wrong, I'm not minimalizing the Black Panther Party at all, because they did a lot more than that. Shoot, when you think about WIC programs now that most people are on, that was the Black Panther Party that the government, they stole that idea. You know what I'm saying? Once they dismantled the Black Panther Party, they took that kind of program from them, but that was created by the Black Panther Party. So the Black Panther Party did a lot of things for our community. And so when you think about what she is saying, and we think about the things that are going on even now in our own city, not and not saying that it's just this is the first thing that's happened, because there has been past things that have happened with the police department in Kansas City, and with them, you know, taking lives of our young men, and being overly aggressive. You know, there was a thing about overly aggressive case in with a transgender that took place here. So I mean, we know that, you know, things happen, and we haven't just now started to want these things to not happen. You know, so it's like when we need to take the same steps as kind of like the Black Panther Party kind of did. You know, it's like it's time to start policing the police. You know, they want us to retaliate and move in a hateful manner, and we can't stoop that low. Like, all things that we do have to be done out of love, and when I say out of love, is love for humanity. Just like just, you know, love for humankind, period, for mankind, period. We can't want to stoop down to a lower vibration of ourselves, or dwell on a lower frequency, because then you change your own life, and you change the direction and course of your own life. So, but you also are, I'm trying to think of the word that I want to use, entitled to justice. You know what I'm saying? You're also entitled to fairness treating. Like, you don't have to be the thing about it is we're not the lesser, and we move in a sense of like we're the lesser, but we're not the lesser. We just have the mind state of the lesser right now, because that's kind of what we've been programmed with. And you know, we kind of talked about that last week when we talked about the subconscious programming and the autopilot that we move in, like how we just handle situations that we have, and that's no matter who we're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? It's like you should be able to treat a stranger with just as much kindness and love, because love is an action, and it's a frequency that you dwell on. It's an energy that you give off. So you should be able to treat like someone that you don't know with that same type of kindness, you know, until they give you a reason not to. You know what I'm saying? And I don't even know if it's really a such thing as actually giving you a reason not to, because it really all affects you, you know. So kind of with that, I want to kind of switch lanes a little bit. Because right now we're about to go into a Mercury retrograde, right? And I was wondering, you know, talking about, or do a lot of people, and you guys comment and let me know what you think and everything like that, because oh, Miss Walker, I want to see the comment. I'm gonna watch you. Go ahead, kinda, sorta. Go to the Google. I'm sorry, y'all. Give me 1 second so I can just pull this up real quick. I mean, hit the Chrome button, the internet button at the bottom, and then go to the Facebook tab at the top. Go over to right there, and click on that. Right. Okay. So then click on the picture. You see y'all picture on the side where it say Mr. Walker name. The picture of your husband. Click on that. Just go to my Facebook. Okay. Now, go to KUAW in the shortcuts. Okay, you should be able to go from there, right? Scroll down and just find the video. Okay, I'm sorry, y'all, just real quick, because I want y'all to comment on this, and oh no, keep scrolling down till you see the video. It should be live. There you go. Just clicking. There you go. Okay. So sorry y'all. So because I really want you guys to comment and let me know, you know what I'm saying, what you think about what do you guys think about as far as these planets and energy. Now a lot of people will say that will consider it astrology. And so I guess it would be, because it's kind of like the study of the stars and the planets. And, you know, astrology in a lot of people's mind is considered a science, you know. But some people, now we're not talking about horoscopes, like, you know, what you read on that you look up like your daily horoscope or in a paper or in a magazine or anything like that. Like, we're not talking about that. We're talking about like right now. So what I was saying, like full moons, you know what I'm saying? Like the course of the moon, the phases of the moon. Now, also the energy or the motions of the planets around us, like how they orbit. Like, do you guys feel like that is something that affects us as humans, as people? Because we are as people, we are made up of 70% water, right? And so they say that water, just like the oceans, like the course of the waves of the oceans and things like that, is all based off the rotation and orbit and everything of the earth, and then also the energy and the winds and everything that's going on, and those are kind of affected by, I would guess, in the solar system with other planets close to us. Because so retrograde is where a faster spinning planet passes a slower rotating planet in orbit around the sun. So Mercury is supposed to be in retrograde starting tomorrow until November 3rd. Now, they say when Mercury is in retrograde, you have a lot of kind of frustration, like feelings. Like, a lot of things is one of those times of period, they say, like, if it could go wrong, it will go wrong type thing. And I just talked about cliche sayings last week, and now here I am quoting cliche sayings. But anyway, I'm just wanting to get y'all something to relate to, so y'all can let me know if y'all believe that these things affect us. Because if you do, then it's good to like kind of know where you are, like what's going on and everything like that, just because you know how to handle different type of things that are going on in your life. If you feel like that these things have an effect on your life, and or how on your thoughts, or on your energy, or on your emotions, however you want to consider it, I would say your soul, your spirit, your aura, your because at any given moment we want to try to move into a people that we control our emotions, and that our emotions don't control us. We control our circumstances around us, not the other way around, not the circumstances controlling us. We have to learn how to be the ruler of our realities, like the ruler of our lives. And so to do that, we have to be able to understand who we are. We have to be able to understand what affects these things in us, so that we know when we are presented with these situations, or when we're presented with these conflicts with loved ones, or your significant other, or your friend, or your closest friend, or something like that, you are able to recognize these things, pinpoint these things, and consciously change it around. Now, so I'm going back to this, and I say consciously because, again, we talk about subconscious programming. We talked about that last week, and we're going to talk about that again in the second segment of this show after we come back from break, and how it deals with us in our relationships and things like that as well. So that's why I'm kind of hammering in the thought and trying to get it to see. We have to be able to see it in our own lives and individual lives as well, before we can start to see it in others and recognize it when we're orchestrating these relationships, or I don't want to necessarily say acting out, but when we're in these relationships and dealing with other people. And I'm not just talking about intimate relationships either. I'm talking about just people relationships in general. You know how people say they're just not a good people person? Like, people relationship, human relationship in general. And that will help us better when we talk about our own businesses, and we talk about customer service, or we talk about relationships that we have with coworkers, or someone that just may not learning how to effectively agree to disagree. And all these type of things come from the love that dwells within us. And we are, because again, like I stated that love is a frequency. So if that you dwell on, like, a lot of people feel like some are under the conception, I don't know the word, not conception, but under the the idea, the thought that love is a feeling. Like they dwell under the ideal that love is a feeling, when love is really a frequency that we dwell on. It's really an action, you know what I'm saying, that we obtain and that we give off in order to receive back. And so, and and again, that's what the saying, and here I go with all the sayings again, but that's what it means when it says to love, not demand love in return. And even saying, and when the y'all know I'm a Moor, so when I can't help but to quote what I know, but even when it says to love, you have to love and learn to love instead of hate. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are type of things that we have to do in all situations and all relationships that we should be able to have amongst all people that we come in contact with on any given time or any given level. And so I definitely and I was saying that just to say that when we have and so we go into our subconscious and on kind of like on autopilot in these situations, and when you're able to consciously if you believe that because also I guess when you believe in astrology, as far as like the moon phases and the Mercury in retrograde and the other planets in retrograde as well. Mercury is not the only planet that goes in retrograde, but all planets move, and they be in different like different houses and things like that you can learn in the stars and things like that too. So it's a lot deeper than just Mercury being in retrograde. And so, but this is just one that's coming upon us, and it's one that is known for causing like a lot of confusion and frustration and everything that I said. And those type of things seem to show up in our closest relationships that we have around us. So like your significant other, your friends, your coworkers, like all these, even our work relationships as well, just even how your day is going, how the events of the day is going, and things like that. Like you could have a frustrating day, and so and there's a lot of feelings and things that come up from your past that they say your intuition is heightened during a Mercury retrograde as well. And so you're not looking at things as just coincidences, because a lot of times we look at things as just coincidence, and we got to know that there is no happiness. Like there is a kind of a reason and a lesson and a blessing in everything that we do. You just got to be able to recognize it. But so I guess what I was saying. I'm kind of trying to lose my train of thought there. I'm sorry, y'all. But yeah, so that those things are happening, and it also, what I wanted to go to as well, is it brings up things about yourself, like your past, or they'll maybe kind of shine light on some of your shortcomings. And this is how we really learn to that's really how we learn to make ourselves the best versions of us that we can be. And as well as different relationships that we have with other people. That's what's going on to with different relationships that we have with other people. Because when we think about like the signs, shout out to Scorpio season coming up. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my Scorpios out there. Y'all know we be turned. But best sign ever. Anyway, I'm sorry. But like just like now, again, I started it off when I was talking about astrology and the moon phases and everything like that. And I was saying that not like the horoscopes that you read daily and things like that too, because a lot of those things are, I don't know, I don't think that people should base their life off those type of things or whatever. If you want to read them from your perception, take it how it resonates, but don't really just like kind of live your life around that. I don't think that's smart at all, you know what I'm saying? And then but when it comes to like the signs, as far as, I feel like that was okay. So before we go to break, I'm just gonna give y'all, and I'm gonna state it as my opinion, because this is the truth be told. So I'm just gonna let y'all know. I always let y'all know when I state my opinion. So when it comes to astrology and signs and things like that, I think about the stars being the only thing really that man cannot manipulate. And what I mean by that is, like, when it comes to these things that's then happened in history, when it comes to kind of learning about yourself, when it comes to world, it's like someone wrote these books and try to teach you, program you, whatever you want to think of what it is that you should think, and they can manipulate it however they want to want to manipulate it. But when it comes to like your birth, even when people try to control birth, like, a lot of women schedule C-sections or go into unexpected labor, what I'm saying, all these, even doctors give you a range or a perceived date, but they can never really give you an exact date or anything like that, because really only the creator, the most high God, whatever you want to call him, can control that. You know what I'm saying? Like, even the ideal of being conceived. Like, some people, it's easy for them to conceive children. Some people, it's not easy for them to conceive children. You know what I'm saying? So even that is a God-given gift there to even come into conception, right? And so when it comes to when you actually are birthed into this world, as far as what sign and everything that you're born under, then only, God can control that. Like, man cannot manipulate that. They can try all they want. You know what I'm saying? And some of them succeed, but then when it all comes down to it, they really cannot do it. Islam, Brother Johnson, babe. And then so yeah, and so when you think about, I feel like our signs, when you can kind of read the compatibility between signs and just get kind of like a glance of a person's kind of personality, or how they kind of how they kind of view things or whatever, you are given kind of like a guide in how to interact and with other people, and how to develop strong relationships or strong bonds, or because like, for instance, my friends know that I'm very blunt. They know that I don't really sugarcoat things. You know what I'm saying? It's the Scorpio in me. I don't sugarcoat things. Like, I'm very blunt when it comes to what's on my mind. And I'm gonna say it, you know what I'm saying? But they don't take it harshly, they don't take it offensive, or anything like that, because they know me. Not saying that, and of course they learned that just from being around me and being my friend and everything like that. But at the end of the day, when I'm a Taurus and she a Scorpio, you know what I'm saying? So when you read those type of things, or what you can study on those type of things, you kind of know what type of relationship you guys have to have, and kind of compromise and boundaries that you have to have with each other. I really think that's just how it should be taken in that sense. And it also helps you with, you know what I'm saying, it also helps you with, like, yourself. It kind of helps you know yourself and know where you are along the ways of knowing how. And again, it entangles with the moon and the other planets, because all those things is not just like your sun sign, which is what most people go off of, but it's a lot deeper into your birth chart. Like, you can go a lot deeper into the planet and the system, exactly how the stars were aligned. And then also the science of astrology, like, that was our people. Like, even when they look at the way the pyramids were built, all these things line up with the stars and the moon phases and things like that or whatever. So it was a strict science to it, and it was one of the first. So we have to be able to, use those type of things to our benefit, to where we can control our emotions and control our realities a lot smoother. I'm gonna have to go on break here in a second. Look for that. And so I want to come back on the second half of the show, and I want to go into how the subconscious, how our subconscious kind of control our how it relates to the relationships that we have today. But for now, I have to go on a quick break. So I ask that you guys take this time to like and share this video, and I will be back in a brief 90 seconds.
Hey everybody, this is Scatter. You might remember me from way back in the Zodiac days. Be sure and check us out. We're going to be here every day from 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock as Old School with Scatter. Scatter's back. Check me out on the internet, KUAW.org. For all you Paseo Central Manulite people, want you to remember that in the 60s and the 70s, we had some good music. If you want to hear some of the Temptations, some of Smokey Robinson, some of the Tim Free, things that you don't get every day, DJ Scatter remembers he's going to have it for you.
Bank of Blue Valley is a proud sponsor of KUAW Radio. At Bank of Blue Valley, we believe that an understanding of financial value sets individuals up for a strong future. Whether you want to talk about checking and savings accounts, review lending alternatives, or discuss starting your own business, we have the right people to listen and advise. Visit us at bankbv.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to 98.5. This is KUAW, Kansas City, Missouri. Glad you're listening. Keep tuning to the new voice in Kansas City.
Hi, my name is Felania Johnson, and I'm a freshman at Purcell Academy of Fine and Performing Arts.
My name is Mayan Charity, and I'm a 7th grader at Lincoln College Preparatory.
STEM is a program about science, technology, engineering, and math. More girls our age should get more involved in the program because there's a shortage of black girls in STEM.
African American women make up just 2% of engineers. Roughly 1/3 of students of color express an interest in STEM. Most black women think that STEM is too challenging. We are sisters in STEM, and we are encouraging young black teens to join STEM.
If you're interested in more information, please contact Ina Montgomery.
Okay, there you go. Alrighty, so I appreciate you guys for bearing with us and let us pay some bills. Again, if you would like to be a sponsor here on KUAW, make sure to shoot us an email, KUAW985@gmail.com. We do respond to our emails. If you have an event or anything like going on, we are Kansas City, or we are global community radio station. So whatever you have going on, you know.
Hey, everybody, this is
My feet are not any. You just gotta press the button. Oh, it's on there. It's just not showing up on the other screen yet. Oh, there you go. I'm sorry, y'all. But so yeah, if you have an event or thing like you would like sponsor here on KUAW, just make sure to send us an email. Okay, so we talked about this subconscious and autopilot and things that we just, kind of resort to. We kind of, when we talked about it last week, we talked about how it's just like, like your go-to, like breathing. It's the things that you don't really think about doing. It's just things that are programmed into you, like a computer. Well, a computer has a hard drive, have things that are programmed into it. It has default settings and what it's going to do. So we know that subconscious, we talked about that it's built, within the last trimester of pregnancy in the first 7 years of life. That is kind of a fact. You can look that up in a lot of different child development books that have been written. But also, as far as the things that are programmed into you during these times become your subconscious programming. They are the things that you go to on autopilot. And so the second half of this show, I wanted to look into how those things reflect how those things affect us in our adult relationships that we have today, like the things that you are willing to necessarily, and I was going to say the things that you are willing to accept in a significant other, but it's not even really that you accept, like your ideal of even what is expected from a significant other are the type of things that are kind of built subconsciously that we kind of go through, like the or that we lean on in different type of relationships. Like, again, I'm not talking about just intimate relationships. These could be friend relationship, conflict resolution, just even as a person, like as an adult, like how you live, like how clean you are, how you raise your children, how you speak to children, like how you treat other people's children. You know what I'm saying? Like just the core of your character, like the core of your being. These things are developed, subconsciously, and then when we get into these, we find ourselves get into these relationships now, and we have to consciously reprogram these things that we might, and some of us don't even know that these things dwell within us or lie within us. We don't even realize that this is why we feel this certain type of way, or this is why that we react a certain type of way or whatever to certain relations or certain situations that occur in our lives, and how it's just automatic. You don't even think about it, and that's why, that's one thing growing up, my daddy used to always tell me, you have to think before you speak. You have to think before you act, because like I told y'all just a minute ago, I'm a Scorpio. I'm blunt. I say what's on my mind. But you can't always do that in every situation, or you have to be able to get your point across, or what you say, what you want the other person to take away from the conversation. You have to be able to display those or say those things in a way of where it's going to be perceived the way you want it to be perceived. And that's the same way as in even looking when you're dealing with like your friends, when you're dealing with strangers, and when you're dealing with anyone, just who you like, just like who you are. And these things also affect us like in a relationships, because there's more things that you are willing to deal with. Like a lot of people say that if a child grew up seeing their parent get abused, that they're more suitable, or more, I don't know the word I'm really trying to use, but that they're probably gonna accept that type of treating from someone else the same way, just because that's part of their subconscious programming. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of the environment that they grew up in, or the environment that kind of shaped them into who they are, so they're more acceptable to it. And versus someone who isn't, versus someone who would probably kill somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like be in jail for murder, like an enough type of situation or something like that. And it don't even have to go that far, like just even with domestic violence, but even even verbal. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people grow up to take a lot of verbal abuse in their from other people, because of how harshly they were talked to as a child. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of correlation that we don't make. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of correlation that we have to learn, so that we can know where these things stem from. And also, because when we're raising children, we don't want to sustain our children to these same things. We don't want to. We want to be able to develop their subconscious into an autopilot that's not gonna crash them. It needs to be a Tesla, non-hackable, you know what I'm saying, autopilot, but something that's really not gonna defer them off their path and make them crash, or something that's not gonna hinder them or be a weight, to their flight, And so, and then the better the foundation, the better house that's built. We talk about our children. We talk about the children that we have of today and the things that we see in these children today, but we can only say that those things are because of what they were programmed with coming up. And as parents, as a village, as adults in this nation of people, because it's not just you cannot have the just me type of attitude. Like, you cannot have that just me type of attitude and think that we're really going to get ahead and to be where it is that we need to be, and where we can be as a people. So when you look at these type of children, when it's and you see these teenagers that are just so quick to grab a gun, that have no idea of what conflict resolution is, when you have women that are just being doormats. I guess that's the word for it, just because people just being doormats for other people, period, just because of how harshly we are programming our children and what to accept as adults. And then when we get into these type of relationships and we're trying to develop lifelong bonds and commitments as with a life partner and things like that, you go through so many ups and downs. There's so many things that you have been programmed to feel like is acceptable, and it may not. like, and it's really, and I'm not here to say what is acceptable and what's not acceptable, but I'm just saying that when you are raised in certain conditions, when you are raised with certain understanding, and developed, like, you're subconsciously susceptible. I think it's, I don't know, I'm gonna have to figure that out. But you are more than likely going to be accepting these things, you know what I'm saying, in your adult life, or given off these type of things, because it could be negative too when you think about children that are abused, like, just get whooped a lot, right? They grow up into teenagers that use violence as conflict resolution. They turn into men who use violence as a way to control our conflict resolution, as well. And even developing relationship with women, they feel like they have that type of control over a woman, and then that's when you have these domestic violence situations that we have, which is high up in our community. See, we have to start looking at the things that we see today in our community and trying to find a foundation and correcting them at the foundation. But that also means taking accountability for what we see and knowing who we are and knowing the part that we play in these type of things, and being aware of what being knowledgeable. See, the thing about it is people stop learning. They stop looking for more things to, like, outside of the education. I would say the Eurocentric education. It's outside of the education that the European tell you to get, a high school diploma, a college degree. After you feel like you accomplished that, what they told you to do, then there's nothing else out there. And so you stop seeking the knowledge to understand what is actually important. Not saying that the college degree in high school and all those type of things is not important to life or to your development. Not saying that at all. But at the end of the day, when you need to know how to resolve an argument without pulling a gun, you know what I'm saying? That's not things that's taught in school. When you have to learn how to dwell on the frequency of love, when you have to learn how to subconsciously raise, you know what I'm saying, like, are consciously raised and programmed like your children. You don't, a lot of, and it goes back to y'all know I'm always going here, but like just the broken families, but not having both parents in a household as well. But it's still a knowledge, because even that issue in our community or within our nation, even that the issue of broken homes, we have to go back and see where that stems from or how to nip that in the bud. And that's another thing, when you get how women or young girls are raised to be wives, but men are not raised to be husbands. You know what I'm saying? It's complete opposite, and it's like, so now we're out here fighting for what you feel like, what we feel for a ring, basically, for a marriage, for a commitment, and something that someone told them that you don't trust no woman. We ain't trust a woman since Eve. You know what I'm saying? They get those type of thoughts or talks, and things growing up or whatever, when women get out here, find you a good husband, have some children, this and that, and we creating these broken families because of the foundation, our subconscious programming, the subconscious autopilot that we are programming our children with, are letting our children be programmed with. And those are the type of things. That's why I say it's important to understand how these things affect us as adults, because then we find ourselves in situations or just dealing in relationships. You got to make sure. That's where I wanted to go to, and within this last 10 minutes as well. When it says that, and I think it's in the Bible, I don't know, it may be a cliche saying, it might be in the Bible, but it's saying like you have to be equally yoked with your partner. Like you have to be, and then you got to understand, what does that actually mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, what does it actually mean to be equally yoked? Like, you're definitely never going to find someone that is going to agree with everything that you say. You're never going to find someone that's probably going to, well, I'm not going to say never. I'm not even going to use that language, because I actually do think it's someone out there for everyone. You know what I'm saying? I do feel like there's, you know, there's soul connections, you know, that are that our souls probably go seeking, you know, through earth, just trying to come back together without past this physical, you know, past this physical vehicle. So I do feel like it's that person that's gonna, you know, feed you what it is that you need. Like, y'all souls feed each other. So I do feel like that's out there. But at the same time, you have to understand what that looks like. A lot of the times we are confused and we are consumed with our carnal, fleshly thoughts and wants, and what we want them to look like, how tall we want them to be, like material things, how much money I want them to make, or cook, clean, you know what I'm saying, hair long, natural hair, no weave, no makeup, like, who knows, like all these type of things that we put on each other and everything like that, or whatever. And so we find a shell in somewhat, a shell of what our minds or what our flesh tells us that it is that we want, but we don't take the time to actually find out if you're equally yoked with that person, because the physical is always going to change over time. So when he's talking about equally yoked, so, and I don't want to go into this, like, you know, religion versus religion or anything like that, but could you be with a person that was outside of your religion? You know what I'm saying? Because that's a different thing too. Like, if you're a type of person that you can accept the differences in others, and you think that it can work together, but then it kind of gets confusing too, because then if you have children, are you going to be agreeing to be able to at least to just raise our children aware of everything? Or, you know what I'm saying? Or are we going to have to pick and choose or fight over what we're going to teach our child? You know what I'm saying? So there again, that's where you fall into equally yoked. But do you actually talk about these type of things on the first date? You be knee deep in love by the time you start thinking about these type of things. And why do we do that? You know, like, why do we do that? Like, I don't know why we wait so long. You know, a lot of people say when women kind of have those conversations, like when they meet somebody or whatever, it's like they coming off too strong, or they just jumping way ahead or something like that. Like, no, I don't. It's like, I don't want to waste my time. Like, I need to know where, you know, what it is. How do you think? How do you feel? Do you believe in God? Do you not believe in God? What God do you believe in? What concept of God do you believe in? Like, whether I agree with it or not, but I still deserve, I had to have the option or whatever to know if it's something that I can not necessarily deal with, but live with. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's part of becoming equally yoked. Just like when we talked about the situation of the young lady that she demanded that her spouse marry her after 9 years of being together, and gave him an ultimatum, and he left. You know what I'm saying? Just all because he didn't believe in marriage. Like, those are the type of things that it shouldn't take 9 years in a child to find these type of things out. And so then men that felt they get scared off when you have like real life conversations that I don't know. I just feel like we definitely got to learn to and look more into the concept or the principle of finding someone that's equally yoked, and being more open minded when meeting someone and talking to someone or courting someone, and what type of things you are really getting to know with that person before you bring a child into this world. So you don't have to go through those type of things, so you don't create another broken home. Because at the end of the day, it's these type of foundations that build, like, again, like I said, the stronger the foundation, the sturdier the house, the better the house that's built. You ain't never seen a mansion built on no raggedy foundation. It wouldn't stand. You ain't never seen one of these houses out here that's been up here for 40, 50, 60, 70, 100 years standing on no shaky foundation. You know, unlevel foundation. The foundation of what it is that you're building has to be dang near perfect. You know what I'm saying? So the more the closer that you can get to this stronger foundation by just asking questions and being informed and not letting societies, I feel like a lot of times with our people, we let society determine what we think, how we act, how we react, what's acceptable, what's not acceptable. You know, we implement these things into our subconscious program, and so now we're on autopilot doing these things or whatever, and then you wondering why you can't why you're so unhappy, why you're depressed, why we brush it off as mental illness, but it's like you find yourself wondering these things about yourself or whatever. I didn't did it myself, you know what I'm saying, and I had a good foundation, so hey. But I'm able, the difference between me is I'm able to recognize what it is that's going on. See, a lot of people are unaware. They're just going with the flow, or they're just being, I don't know what to call it, but yeah, I just feel like when we look at, again, just to kind of recap before we go into that, before we leave here, it's just that when we have to understand the problems and take accountability, because y'all know I always speak on the victimized mentality that our people kind of have, but we have to be able to take accountability for the things that are going on amongst our nation. We have to be able to look at those problems and kind of go back and try to pinpoint what it is, to where we can begin to weed out those things in future generations, so that we don't have teenagers out here that think that conflict resolution means shooting someone, means shooting up a car, endangering someone else's life, taking someone else's life. Like, that's not conflict resolution. It's not good conflict resolution. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to be able to, when we think about the way relationships that we have, because just the foster care system and the children that's going unwanted, that's going hungry, that's going homeless or whatever. If you have two parents that love you, that not necessarily planned you, but are prepared to raise you, those type of you don't have such broken families. If we wasn't so quick to have children, you wouldn't have such broken families. But all these things have to have a correlation back to the subconscious programming of what we are exposed to within those first early years of lives. So with these children that we have now, we have to be able to recognize that and be able to correct that, be knowledgeable of that, you know what I'm saying? And even in ourselves, because before you can teach it to somebody, or before you can do it, you have to be able to do it for yourself. So you got to be able to do it for yourself now, and we got to use all the sciences and everything available to us in order for us to make this correction, in order for us to make this reprogramming of our people, because it starts with us. You got to be the change that it is, the change that you want to see. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like anyone that tunes into my show frequently and everything like that are kind of on that like-minded kind of sense, because they know how I feel about just uplifting humanity. Like, we need a uplifting, We know that we need a uplifting. We can look around us. We can look at the situations. We living in hell. So we know that we need a uplifting. And everything that we've been doing and what we've been trying, it just hasn't been working. So we have to be able to identify we're too smart of a people. We invented everything. Like, we're too smart of a people to be able to be in the conditions that we find ourselves in today. And we have to be smarter about it. And we have to recognize where it is and pinpoint it and actually do something about it, and quit waiting on someone, i.e. one, to come back and save you, or two, do it for you. We got to do it ourselves. And we do that by taking accountability for what it is that's going on, and actually developing a system to control it. And I'm just telling y'all, and it's fact, you can go look it up. It's the subconscious programming of where we move on where we find ourselves on autopilot, and how we just react to situations, and how we even emotionally and physically. I'm talking too much, I gotta go. It's the end of my time. Okay, so real quick, you are the children of one father, provided for by his care, in the breast of one mother have given you suck. Let the bonds of affection therefore unite thee with thy brothers, that peace and happiness may dwell in our Father's house. When you separate in the world, remember the relation that bindeth you to love and unity, and prefer not a stranger before thy own blood. If thy brothers in adversity, assist him. If thy sisters in trouble, forsake her not. So shall the fortunes of thy Father contribute to the support of his whole race, and his care be continued to you all in your love to each other. Peace.